What's going on, guys? This is Damien from the Lookout, and welcome to how to play Bt22 Janemba, a deck that's amazing for losing games. This horrifying thing, this thing broke the Geneva Conventions. Just that's how bad it is. But before we begin this video, Zenkai Showdown, 23rd and 24th of September in Poznan, Poland. It's our event. It's gonna be awesome. We have amazing prizes. Guys, there are still tickets left. Go check them out. Link is in the description below. And of course, huge shout out to our patrons, the Coffee Club, our $2 and up patrons who buy us coffee. They keep us going, and eventually we will replace the broken table. Now, guys, roll the video. As with all of our videos, let's start with the breakdown. So I'm gonna show you the archetype breakdown for this awful thing. Then we will go over lines of play, interactions. I'll show you a deck list, and then we'll just kind of wrap it up with a summary. Yeah, get ready. Let's go. Here is our leader, and it immediately starts off bad. It just starts off bad. It throws away any pretense of it there being anything of value here. It's just, hey, this is horrible, have fun. Oh man, how in such a good set? Let's break it down. You'll see what I'm talking about. You start with the field card in play. The field card is phenomenal, but everything else here is bad. Auto, when this card attacks, you look at top 5, you grab a Janemba, you shuffle your deck. No. I mean, no is my gut reaction. It's not like it's gonna change anything. But we've talked about this. Leaders who draw on activate main are much better now than the ones who draw on attack. And this one doesn't even draw on attack. It tutors. It can't draw into anything. It just gets something very specific. So turn 1, you're not even drawing. You're literally not doing anything turn 1 with this deck. But what makes it even worse is that you can't awaken on turn 2, which is just like borderline horrible in Modern Dragon Ball. It's borderline unplayable. This is a huge downside. How and why? Because you need to have a Janemba with an energy cost of 2 or more removed from the battle area by a skill or KO'd. And the thing is that you can't play your Janembas, which cost 2 or more, 2 costs. You can't play them turn 1. They have the ability to cost 1 energy, but only after you've charged 2. Let's go and check out the Awakened side. Now, you might have been foolish enough to think, well, Damien, if you need to jump through so many hoops, the Awakened side is probably good. Yeah. So, Janemba the Silent Demon, 15k, auto. When this card attacks, look at the top 5, you grab 1 blue Janemba and you shuffle your decks. You're not even drawing. You're not drawing. You're tutoring. That's it. So, do you need an extra card? Do you need the Unison for some reason? Well, tough luck. You're not getting them with your leader. And then he has an auto, once per turn. If it's your opponent's turn, when one of your bluesy extra cards is placed in a battle area, draw 1. Okay, so now you draw and switch up to one of your mono blue energies into active mode. Yeah, you see there is a problem with this one. And that is this right here. You see the problem is twofold. First, you have 3 Z extra cards in your 7 slots Z deck. And the bigger problem is that your leader says that you draw 1 and you restand 1 if it's your opponent's turn. Well, tough luck, because none of these do anything on your opponent's turn. None of them. Like, the first one, give Janembas plus 5k for the turn. This is good, but it's utterly useless on your opponent's turn. The second one steals a keyword skill. Like, okay, this is the only one that you can actually use on your opponent's turn because you can take away like triple strike or something. And then the third one switches Janemba to active mode. So not a single one of them is actually good on your opponent's turn. But your leader draws and restands when you play one of them and they play each other. It's a weird thing, but when you play one of them during your opponent's turn. So it's basically waste a Z extra card, like completely throw away one of your 7 slots and then just throw away the card from it to draw one, to do like the bare minimum that a leader does on a turn that where the card doesn't even work. What the hell, Bandai? What is this? Okay, let's check out the field card. So this one is actually really good. Permanent barrier field. Finally, barrier field has been a standard for quite a while, and I'm pleased to say that finally we are in the clear to say that field cards will have barrier forever. That's awesome. And then permanent, you can't play black battle cards, so no overwhelm, no surmounting the impossible, nothing, just can't do this. And then he has a good activate main. Activate main / battle if your leader is Janemba, Silent Demon, so it has to be awakened, and you have a blue Z extra card in your battle area. Play up to 1 blue Janemba with an original energy cost of 6 from your hand. Now all of this depends basically on how good these Janembas are. Let's check them out. What? Oh god, it's night? Oh god, how long has it been? 3 days? Wow! Yeah, guys, this video is a bit late. Like, this archetype is so piss poor that it actually comatosed me. That's how bad it is. I was just traumatized by it and so upset I fell into a coma, apparently. And now it's 3 days late. Anyway, why did I fall into coma? Well, I saw these 6 drops. Let's go over them. What do they do on your opponent's turn? Right. What do they do on your opponent's turn? Absolutely nothing. What do they do on your turn? Nyeh. So, let's go over the first one. The first one just plays a 2 cost. So the first one just basically draws a card and that's it. That's everything it does. The second one is a blocker. The second one is so bad. It's a blocker, but he also gains this other effect, which you might think like, okay, this is neat. The other effect is, if it's your turn, when this card is played, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and place it at the bottom of its owner's deck. On your turn. It works on your turn. Not on your opponent's, mind you. So if you wish to surprise your opponent with a blocker, like activate battle, okay, I'm gonna play a blocker now, I'm gonna do things. Yeah, he's not gonna do anything. The next one is a critical attacker, which is okay. And the last one does absolutely nothing, he just costs 2 energy. He just costs 2 energy. And then what does he do? He bottom decks a 6 cost or less. But it costs 2. Yeah, I mean, this is just awful. Like, this is, wow. Anyways, since we're already late with the video, let's just continue. Okay, one last thing to go over is the boss monster. This one is like extremely mediocre. It's extremely mediocre. It's a critical blocker. Costs 8. You can't cheat this one out, right? But here's the bigger problem. You can't play him before turn 4. Yeah, like everything in this deck, everything is a couple of turns late. Everything. Like he has activate main limit 2 for limit 1 for 2 blue energy if your leader is this Janemba and you have 4 more energy, play him from your hand. Turn 4. Like he legit does nothing. He doesn't do anything. Like he's a dual attack blocker, basically dual attack blocker with critical and no protection, and then he just kind of comes in way too late and you're supposed to win now. Like it's no, like you won't survive until 4 or more energy. Like this deck doesn't do anything. Yes, I silly me, I forgot that there is a Z battle card as well. It exists. It doesn't do anything. Actually, it does. It takes another slot in your Z deck. So now that's 4 in total. That's just 4 in total for another bad Janemba card. Like, it doesn't do anything. Like, it doesn't do stuff. Like, you bottom deck one thing and that's like cute, but like, it's super weak. You're not wasting any more Z slots. Like, no, like, for this deck, we should have like 10 Z card slots. Or like more. Like this is just awful. Plus, you need 4 energy. 4 energy just to restand 1 at the end of your turn. 4 energy. Like, no. No, I mean, like, it doesn't do anything. If you have 4 or more energy, you lost. This is the same thing that we talked about with the Boss Master. If you have 4 more energy, you just lost. It's over. So, yeah. Z battle card, it exists, here you go, enjoy it. At this point, you're asking yourself, Damien, is it hopeless? Well, by now we have established that Janemba is an abomination, it's a demon, it's an actual demon of design, how bad it is, and it's by far the worst archetype in recent history. I can't think of another archetype which was as bad as this one in my recent memory. I just can't. Like, you might think like, oh, Baikuan. Like, Baikuan was bad. Yeah, but both Baikuan decks were better than this. Token Tova was better than this. Like, maybe Beerus Champa or something. Like, this is... I honestly can't recall a worst archetype. Like, Metacooler is phenomenal compared to this. However, if we really, really go out of our way to do some crazy IQ 5000 mental gymnastics, we can actually make this deck go from completely unplayable to, yeah, it's okay. We can make it okay. Alright, here is the best that we can do. The best thing that I came up with to try to salvage this abomination is adding the Xeno engine. The Z Leader, the 5-star Dark Dragon Ball, and like the actually good 6-drop. This one is better than anything else in this entire archetype, and we can play it with our field card because it's Janemba Xeno. It's like, it's so bad, but the Xeno engine might actually help us out here. Let's quickly go over it. But before we start, because I can already see comments and questions and stuff, guys, before we start, a big disclaimer. We're really going out of our way to try to make this archetype work. Xeno engine isn't the optimal solution. It's not an optimal solution by far. It just isn't. But it is a solution. You will have to jump through a million hoops to make it work. You will really have to go out of your way. But once you get your Z Leader out, it starts to feel much better than whatever this is. Like, whatever this abomination is. It will start feeling better, but it will be awful until you get to that point. Here is how and why we're doing this. First, we have the Z Leader. Okay, he's gonna help us get our Xeno engine running. You need to drop to 3 lives first. I don't believe that that's gonna be an issue. I think anyone who sees Janemba is just gonna run into it. Like, I see zero reason to be afraid of this leader, so your opponent is just gonna start slamming at you the first opportunity that they get. At worst, with this leader, you will now draw 1 on attack. That's better than what the Awakened side does, which just draws and restands when you sacrifice a Z extra card which doesn't do anything then. I think that draw 1 is better. You will never, ever, ever, ever use the second auto. Just ignore it. It doesn't exist. And finally, basically the anchor point of the entire thing is its activate main. This is how you will get to play your Xeno Janembas. You need to have free cost Janembas to do the entire Xeno chain, but your activate main basically allows you to increase their cost by 1. So you play the fat 2 cost Janembas and then you just activate main and increase their cost by 1, and then you can do the entire Xeno chain. So yeah, this is the first part, our Z leader. Then the second part of the entire thing, and the key card is in our deck, is the Dark Dragon Ball. You need this to Z Awaken. First off, you need it to Z Awaken. You need it to play Janemba Xenos. We will be digging for them like mad, because everything depends on this card. Everything depends on it. And optimally, we will have 3 in hand, but that isn't a small task, because in a normal world, in a normal archetype, in a sanely designed thing, we would be able to use Towa 1-drop to just search for this one. But we can't, because it's like a battle card. So we can't do that. So even the better version, if you ask me, of the deck heavily depends on RNG. You just have to mulligan for as many of these as possible, and just pray that you see them. And finally, the better Janemba cards. The better Janemba cards. Getting them out will be tricky. Like I told you, you need to do mental gymnastics. You need to play like the 2-drop and make him into a 3-drop, and then you can do the Dragon Ball, and then you can do the 4-drop, and then you need to pay 1 to do the 6-drop. Like, we can't cheat them in with our Z leader, which is a huge issue. We just can't cheat them into play. And we can't use the field to cheat them into play either. They are also Janemba Xeno cards, which means that they won't work with our field card, nor our Z extra cards. But it's a good trade-off. Like, we just don't play Z extra cards, I guess. And our field is useless. I think we use it only to play like the critical attackers, and the one that gets the 2-drop so that we can make them into 3-drops. But nothing works with these guys. Nothing. As if that would break the game, I guess. So yeah, these are our Xeno cards. This abomination before us is our deck list. Link is in the description below. Not much to say. I will tell you that this isn't an optimized list, but guys, like, optimized, you know, this is just a ship that sailed a long time ago with this Janemba. So yeah, here is the deck list. You can play around with it. Link is in the description below. And let's just jump into the mulligan. Here is our mulligan. Dark Dragon Ball, as many of them as you can get. As many of them as you can possibly get. Just keep every single one of them. We can't search for them. Just keep them super greedily. Then a 2-cost Janemba, because we need this one to awaken, and then we can use one of our, I don't know, 4-cost Janemba Dark Parasite. Just focus on getting the Dark Dragon Balls. Without them, we just lose. So focus on getting them, and we will be assuming that you managed to get at least a couple of them. Let's go over the first 3 turns. Bt22 Janemba. I'm not gonna be bothering fixing it for this atrocity. Is horrible. So here's how you play the much better version of it. Like we've said, the deck really isn't that good. It's an upgrade, but it's not that good. But we will show you the first 3 turns nonetheless. We'll be going over the first 3 turns with this deck. We're assuming that you have kept the mulligan and that you're going first. It ain't much better. It ain't much better. But here it goes. Let's check it out. Turn 1. Quite literally nothing. Guys, when I say literally nothing, I really mean quite Literally nothing. Not a single card in the deck costs 1. Not a single card in the archetype costs 1. There is one, but you're never gonna play that one because that one doesn't do anything. So like there's nothing here that costs 1 energy. Your turn 1 is just charge, pass the turn. Just try, and that's it, I guess. Just remember to charge the Z energy by turn 2. Just waste a card in your hand because nothing costs 1, and then just charge it into the Z energy. So yeah, that's your turn 1, I guess. Turn 2, setting up for early awakening. Okay, let's do this. Start, charge 1, draw 1, attack, auto triggers. You tutor for Janemba. Grab this one. Grab specifically this one. Shuffle the deck, pay 1 to play the fat bastard. His auto triggers. Grab this one if you can from the deck, shuffle the deck, then pay 1 and 1 Z energy to play Dimensional Hole. For example, just play this one because it's technically the worst one and you want like to use the other ones instead, so just play this one. And then just kind of pass the turn. Now there is stuff to do during your opponent's turn. Let them hit you. Just let them beat the crap out of you. You must drop to 5 lives. Just let them go crazy on you. You will awaken by the end of the turn, because that's how the true drop functions. God forbid that it functions actually normally. But you will awaken by the end of the turn. Turn 3. Things are finally moving. Finally. Okay, by now you have awakened, so charge 1, pay 1, then activate main to play a Janemba, the 6 drop, which brings in a 2 drop, and then the 2 drop tutors, and let's say you grab this one, then attack with the 6 drop. After this, you will use the activate main of the other 2 cost Janemba that you got last turn to bounce a Janemba back into your hand. So you bounce your 6 cost into your hand and you take 2 lives. That's why you're playing this one, so that you can take 2 lives and that you can drop to 3. And now, only now, you can play your Z leader. Only now. So you pay 1 to play the Z leader, and then you use his activate main to increase the cost of the 2 drop which you have played with your first 6 drop. Now we can use the activate main of our Dark Dragon Ball to search the deck for the 4 cost and play it. We shuffle the deck, it enters in active mode, we attack with it, remove a card, it doesn't matter, and now we pay our last energy to play the 6 drop who draws 2, he enters in active mode, then we attack with our leader, draw 1, we buff the 6 drop, attack with him again, because he's a dual attacker, and then we pass the turn. So yeah, that's kinda it, and then you pray not to lose. Before we end the video and before I'm finally free to leave this deck behind and never look at it again, let's just jump into the summary. Bt22 Janemba is awful. There's no way of putting this gently. Like, it's just awful, but we can make it less bad. Like I've said, there is no good way to say this, but the entire archetype really lacks in everything, and it's not even mediocre. And when I say everything, I mean everything. It feels like you're playing a turn behind non-stop. Turn 1, nothing. You can play the Psyche Demon, who cares? It doesn't do anything. And then on turn 2 you can use him to play another Janemba. Okay, cool. Nice. Good job. All of your Janembas are 19k, they're not even 20, so good luck when your opponent Z awakens, and then you need to combo, or you can use your Z extra card to make them 24k, and then opponent just combos 1 card and gets out of it. Like, your Z extra cards don't do anything either, so it's, yeah, your boss monster is out turn 4. Like, everything feels like it's coming in a turn too late. That's it. It's either coming in a turn too late, or it lacks power to compensate for it. For example, if Janembas were 20k instead of 19 and everything else was the same, it would have been much better. It would have felt much better because they would at least be doing things. But like this, it's just, yeah, it's awful. The Janemba Xeno route can make the deck slightly better, but it still isn't good enough. It's just not good enough. Well, let's not kid ourselves. What I have shown you is cute, but it's not even mediocre. The deck also likes defensive tools, which is bad. There's nothing to defend yourself with. There is a blocker, which then proceeds to do literally nothing on your opponent's turn. That's it. There's a blocker. So, good luck. I don't recommend this one at all. I just don't recommend it at all. It's really bad. Whether you're a returning player or a new player, I think that this one is just awful. I might be wrong, but I'm just not saying anything here. This is just... no. Just no. If you get your Janemba cards, trade them to Sunsucker for something better. So, yeah. That's my conclusion on Janemba. That's it for the video. Let me know in the comments below. Is anyone crazy enough to be hyped for this deck? I know one person, Alexander, I'm looking at you. I know you're gonna top with this thing. Somehow. I know you're gonna do it, man. But is anyone else hyped for this deck? Am I not seeing something? Do you agree with me that this is just the worst thing ever designed? Let me know. Not necessarily the worst thing ever designed, but not pretty far away. So let me know in the comments. I read all of your comments. I try to respond to everything. I love our little community. And guys, we're super close to 3,000 subs. Please go hit those share, like, and subscribe buttons. I have tortured myself for this one. This was painful. So maybe we can get to 3,000 subs soon, and then we're gonna have an awesome giveaway. This has been Damien from The Lookout, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Yes, it's over!